The United States makes the UN work when it wants it to work. And that is exactly the way it should be, because the only question for the United States is what's in our national interest.
My name is John, and the International Criminal Court is the pinnacle of justice. For today's video, we're going to discuss the current state of the Ukrainian counteroffensive in both Zaporozhye and Donetsk Oblast. Now, so far, as all of you know by now, the offensive kicked off on June 4th, 2023, despite what Wikipedia says here, which was June 8th, 2023. That's at least when they publicly acknowledged the start of the offensive. But in reality, though, the offensive kicked off, as I said a little earlier, on June 4th, 2023. They pushed, and initially people were claiming that this was a probing operation, but as all of you know by now, that was not the case. And also, a couple days later, as all of you again know by now, the Nova Kakhovka Dam blew up. Now, there's a lot of speculation into who blew up the dam, but for now, I'm just going to say, just to maintain some neutrality here, that it blew up and that, it collapsed. Both sides are accusing each other of blowing it up and calling each other terrorists, blah, blah, blah. That's literally how things are going right now when it comes to the Nova Kakhovka Dam. But, yeah, what matters, though, is that it blew up large portions of the southern portion of the Kherson Oblast, mostly on the left bank here, have been flooded up, though I am hearing reports that the situation has been improving ever since. And as things are concerned right now, things are slowly returning to normal. Though, unfortunately for residents of Crimea, it may mean no more drinking water for a while. But I did hear that they had some reserves in place, so the people who are living there that need some water to drink, they will be okay for the time being. So, anyway, let's get back to the Ukrainian counteroffensive. So, as all of you know by now, the offensive is not going well, as I myself personally expected it. They are launching the offensive, from what I understand, from Kharkiv, which is right here with the ATV market. And they are attempting to take Tokmak, which is right here. Tokmak is sort of like an intersection. It's like a strategic town that would lead them southwards towards Melitopol and towards the Azov Sea right here. Berdyansk, my apologies if I mispronounced that. And basically, the ultimate goal of the Ukrainian counteroffensive is basically to retake the entirety of the areas of the Zaporozhye Oblast that are under Russian control. And then they would use that, of course, to take control of the left bank, eastern part of the Kherson Oblast. And to basically cut off Crimea from the Russian mainland, which is just like all these areas here under Russian control. So, I'm going to read some excerpts from Syriac Maps, okay? So, yeah, he's like my main source for these videos, because I think he's literally the most reliable source of the war, not just for his neutrality, but the fact that he will acknowledge losses on both sides. So anyway, as he states here, Ukrainian began offensive operations in southern Axis and managed to recapture a big part of Lobkov town after Russian army withdrew towards Hainer's north of I cannot really pronounce this. So yeah, they sort of withdrew, but then apparently rumor has it that they have managed to recover those positions. Russian army then recaptured more positions west Novodonetsky town and north east of Urohanzi town, or Urahain. Again, I cannot really pronounce the names of these towns, but yeah, they're recapturing some positions, while Ukrainian army, though, still holds positions south of the river here. Ukrainian army recaptured positions north Obytain, so that is in Donetsk, and they tried to apparently enter the town, but then they were repelled by the Russian forces. And then in the situation south of Bakhmut, which is apparently where Ukrainians are trying to launch their big assaults in as of this moment. Like, they're trying to apparently cause Russians to basically, they want to repeat like an Izium Balaklia situation in Bakhmut. Like, they want to make life a living hell for the Russians there. And rumor has it that the main strike force is going to be in Bakhmut, though as things are reporting, though, so far, it seems more likely that they're going to do it in Zaporozhye Oblast. So, yeah, the armed forces of Ukraine have managed to recapture more positions west of the water channel close to the town of Kurdy Omnivka. And in the last 36 hours, they seem to be on the offensive to try to retake Berkahivka. Ukrainian army also made some gains here, like Roboltone. Again, I apologize if I mispronounced these names. I got a lot of work to do in that regard. And on the other hand, the Russian army recaptured the town of Lobokovka. And here we are. This is what I've been dying to report here. Look at that. A big quantity of armored vehicles and tanks were destroyed, including a Leopard 2 vehicle, considered one of the best tanks nowadays. This demonstrates that a few hundred of advanced weapons can't suppose a decisive factor for the armed forces of Ukraine to be successful in this offensive. It is important to understand that despite the preparation of their troops during many months, the arrival of new equipment and the still numerical superiority of the Ukrainian side has to face a more prepared Russian one. With thousands of new mobilized troops that managed to build several lines of defenses in a wide front with enough artillery coverage, while the Ukrainian air power is scarce and inferior of the Russian one. Of course, it's very premature to think that Ukrainians won't be able to advance. Of course, they'll be able to advance some yards and meters, of course. But there are still many resources available to make progress on the southern front, as well as the use of secondary axes to divide Russian resources. But it would also be illusory, again, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, to think that the Ukrainian side could achieve this without suffering a high cost in material and human terms. We are talking about a decisive offensive in the event of a Ukrainian victory that could force Russia to sit down and negotiate. On the other hand, defeat could also be a decisive factor influencing Kiev's maintenance of the resources necessary to continue the war. The offensive has just begun, and it will be necessary to follow the events of the following weeks or months to draw further conclusions. That's a very good point there by Syriac Maps. And this pro-Russian source, Will Shriver, he posted from the Ukrainian Telegram channel Resident, and I quote, "Our source in the office of the president said that the office of the president received data from general staff on the losses of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Zaporozhye direction during the 3 days of the counteroffensive so far." So they have acknowledged the offensive actually started a lot sooner than what many are reporting. That they had lost 150 pieces of equipment, of which includes 12 Leopard tanks and 15 M2 Bradleys. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of information right now that is still yet to be reported, and from what I can see, at least right now, I think Ukraine lost more Leopards than what is being reported on, based on the reports that we're getting on the ground through like text messages and such on Telegram. So yeah, for now, the Ukrainian armed forces offensive on Zaporozhye and Donetsk Oblast is so far an unmitigated disaster. Like, not a lot of significant ground has been gained throughout the assault so far. But I'm hearing reports from people that the main assault has yet to begin, if not began by now. And time will tell if the armed forces of Ukraine are able to punch a hole and like get some trucks and tanks to like bull rush their way through the front lines and maybe advance towards Tokmak at least. But from what I can understand, though, I don't know. I don't personally think that the Ukrainians are going to reach Melitopol, at least from what I understand. I mean, maybe they could reach Tokmak, but can they take the town? I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna have to find that out in the upcoming days. And yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope all of you enjoyed that. Leave a comment below if you want to start a discussion regarding the current state of the Ukrainian Armed Forces offensive in southern Ukraine. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Share this video, and subscribe to the channel if you want. Have a good one.